G&I Bry, Denman versus Quarto Star, the question on everyone's lips. Can you explain more on the rivalry between them?
Yes, two great racehorses in an era of great racehorses, both from Paul Nicholls' yard up in Ditchett in Somerset. The rivalry between the two has been tremendous over the past couple of years. There's a very famous battle in history of horse racing, 1964, when Arkle appeared on the scene to beat the Great Mill House, and Denman was very similar to that with Quarto Star. Quarto Star had won the Gold Cup 2007, and everyone said what a champion racehorse he was. Then Denman came along. The rivalry built up all season, and it was who was going to win, and Denman came out the victor in 2008, and it was a fantastic race, fantastic spectacle. Didn't quite go the same this year, but Denman still got to the Gold Cup for a rematch, and Quarto Star this year on better ground ran a fantastic race, and Denman ran a blinder as well and was second, so it's 1-1 with them. And this year, hopefully 2010 in March, it should be the sort of decider, the big battle to see who's the best.
Denman has achieved far more than just running against Quarto. Can you explain a bit more?
Yeah, he's a champion racehorse, as I say, in his own right, and I think up until his third or fourth season he'd run over hurdles and fences, run 14 times and won 13 of them, so he's an absolute star racehorse. We don't see many horses with records like that. Say it's changed a little bit of late, but he's a top performer, and if Quarto wasn't in Nicholls' yard, then Denman would be the one that they were talking about up there. It just seems a freak that they've appeared at the same time.
Brian, who owns Denman?
Denman's actually owned by Paul Barber, who was Paul Nicholls' landlord at Ditchett, in part ownership with a guy called Harry Finlay. Most people know Harry. He's a very extrovert character, lots to say, and it was great last year with the rivalry and everything building up to the Gold Cup that Harry was going on to everyone and waxing lyrical about the fact that Denman was a tank and a slugger against Quarto Star, who was the Ferrari, and it was going to be a battle, and I think he likes sort of the mud and the wet conditions flying around for this horse, because he really thinks he can jump, gallop and grind everything else into the ground, and he says that very loudly, very vocal, always gets on the telly and always very belligerent, but the horse is a character and his owner is equally the same, I think.
What's your favourite Denman race?
The Gold Cup, obviously a magnificent race, and after all the spectacle, it was fantastic, great to watch. I think my favourite Denman race was the demolition job he did under a very big weight in the Hennessy at Newbury, the November before he won the Gold Cup. He carried 11 stone 10 and gave somewhere between, I think it was £9 and £23 to his rivals, and it was a superb performance of staying and chasing and jumping. Never looked like losing, and to carry weight like that is just a fantastic performance.
The 2008-09 season saw a blip for Denman with no wins. Can he come back?
Yes, he had one really good run this year, and that was the Gold Cup, obviously, finishing second to Quarto Star. But apart from that, things didn't go well. He had a heart condition in the autumn, and that was put right. He then just didn't come to himself, and I know they had a very hard time with him throughout the Christmas period. They got him back on track, ready for Cheltenham. A disappointing run at Kempton where he was second, probably forgiven that, but then a tremendous run in the Gold Cup. Sadly, it all went a little bit wrong at Aintree right at the end of the year when he fell for the first time in his career. But I hope that he can come back next year. Really looking forward to this big rivalry again, and bring on the Cheltenham Gold Cup in 2010. It should be fantastic.
Thanks a lot, Brian.